What's up, everyone? We are going to be talking about... what are we talking about?
Tokusatsu GaGaGa.
Yes, we were talking about a 7-episode series that aired recently called Tokusatsu GaGaGa, which is about Toku otas trying to hide their like for Toku and also go to Toku shows with some friends they make. Which was an interesting series, and for the parts that were like Sentai, it did Sentai better. What did you think of it? Actually, I guess we should introduce ourselves.
I'm Acrylic Kane.
I'm Advent Nebula.
I'm Silver Quill, and I'm back on the floor.
Chris Lidge Bloodborne.
Alright, so...
And who are you?
Didn't I already say I was Kaiju
No.
no Kami?
No.
Oh, well, I'm Kaiju no Kami.
Impatient no Kami is what he
Yeah,
is.
I'd say so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Energy.
you guys totally screwed me up, but whatever.
Energy much?
We're just gonna go with it. Alright, Advent, what did you think of Tokusatsu GaGaGa?
I really enjoyed the series, and I've been reading the manga and keeping up with it after I found out about it when the show had just started airing. And it's a nice dynamic and a good character drama. You get introspective on people's lives from their work life to how they interact with each other in daily life, and just as nerds here in America, you kind of see a difference where it's more accepted in the social culture, where in Japan you kind of see how it's not.
Well, I will disagree with that a little bit. I love the show. One, I actually think Kaiju Okami is going to divorce me for the main character because she's so his type. But, because I thought I was a nerd and she just surpasses me surmountably. But, I will admit, depending on the culture you're at, it's very similar to what they did in Tokusatsu GaGaGa, because the main character Kano, because I'm terrible with name, or Kana.
Nakamura.
Nakamura is the dude. Oh yeah, Nakamura Kano. So she works in an environment. She works for a trading firm, and all of her coworkers appear to be very straight-laced, very professional, very nice. And then you have her who's trying to mask that she's so different from them. And I actually really connected with that. I actually connected with her friend a little bit more because of age. But,
I guess, well, 50-year-olds got to stick together.
Oh.
But nevertheless, I thought it was kind of interesting because it really does remind you of that it can be very uncomfortable to talk about how nerdy you are if you don't feel like you can connect with your peers. But her friend, I actually understood a little bit more, because her friend, you see the first scene with her and she has a kid, or her friend's friend has a kid, and they're talking about television shows, and you kind of feel awkward thinking, I like the same things that a 3-year-old does.
A third grader.
But nevertheless, a little kid does.
Yes.
Damien.
Okay, Damien is by far my favorite character.
Though, for me, when I was watching the show, and as I've been reading the manga, the character, and still, you haven't got his name yet, Mr. Yakuza, who loves the girliest anime possible that they created for the show.
Moe anime.
Yeah, where I actually am one of those that enjoys Magical Girl and some of the Moe shows that are out there.
And you also like your lot of Type Moon, but yeah, you do like your super garbage, Moe guy, garbage and whatnot.
What?
He hates Moe anime.
Oh.
So what did you think about it, Mr. Silver Quill?
Oh, I must have mow it down. Okay, well, there's a lot of comparisons I want to make, because even if it's like the complete opposite. Because you had Akiba Ranger, which is kind of Japan's Big Bang Theory in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Play up the weirdness, you make a spectacle out of these folks, and it is funny, but at its core, it's laughing at these obsessive fans. This is adding, Tokusatsu GaGaGa is adding a very human element to it. And I especially love the scene where our protagonist, she hears her coworker saying, people should just come out and admit it. And then she gets mad because they're like, if we did, you just look down on us. And I think that's true.
And then the tennis thing.
And then it says, oh yes, I hope your show is preempted by a tennis marathon.
For 5 years.
For 5 years.
Which, I did like the fact, though, that when they're doing karaoke, In the first episode, they have this whole karaoke thing where the work group goes together. And then she's tasked with finding a song because it was her turn. And she gets all freaking out because, like many otakus, in a way, you only know a limited type of music because you're focused on the music that's related to what you enjoy. And I did think it was so cool, though, when she pulled up the opening theme to her favorite
It's kind of a
Sentai.
It's kind of a Metal Hero show with
Sentai Metal
It was a Metal
Heroes,
Heroes type.
but still for Emergation. And just listening to them all start singing along because it was the one time I really felt like she connected with everyone as a whole because their nostalgia was able to meet her current love.
And it is very positive in this representation. I mean, a lot of her morality throughout the day, offering seats to elderly riders or on the train or just speaking up for other people, it doesn't come from the Sentai show, but it helps remind her. It's basically, in my eyes, stories are the clothing that ideas wear to be seen in public.
Mm-hmm.
And so you speak to all these virtues and you laugh that it's people in spandex, but they're doing a lot of better things than most of us do in the average day. And I like that she isn't learning morality from this show, but she's finding its best expression through it.
I like that. That's a very good way of putting it.
It's also sad, though. I wish that those shows were actual shows. Josh
Oh, my
Wan
God.
and Jason.
Well, we were going through Pato Ranger versus Lupin Ranger while this was airing. And so it was like, I want to see a fight like that.
Well, I love the karaoke monster that would show up occasionally. Especially when in the first episode when she's like, I have 5 more rounds I can go before I run out of songs from this artist.
I will say though, her mother was probably one of the characters I just was like, wow.
Oh.
See, the thing is, I actually not understand. I know parents like that. And I lived with a parent like that when I was younger who did not grasp that my personal preferences of entertainment were so different than the normal. I didn't fit into that box. So when we watched this episode, which not to go too far because it's later in the season, because I hope it's more than one season, the mother and daughter have an argument because Kano is sick of hiding, but she's trying to be respectful of her mother, but her mother just hates that she likes a boys' children's show and goes to the point of doing something that really does hurt the relationship. And I personally dealt with the situation like that, so I understood, being on Kano's side, how you handled it, and then her reaction, her visceral reaction to what her mother does. I've been there. And so seeing it from experience, it made me laugh because Silver Quill and Chrysalid were so outraged, so angry, and I'm like,
I agree with them.
you got, and I kind of felt like you're lucky, and
Yosha lucky.
because there's, and I imagine even for people who are watching the show or watching our explanation of it, they may not be as lucky. They may have had experiences like myself that parents just are not okay with it.
Well, honestly, I if we're talking about experiences, I identified a lot with Mr. Yakuza when we learned his role and how he became a fan. And his family, okay, I have been lucky. My family may not always get why I like something, but they always encourage the passion and creative expression of enjoying it. So
That's another reason why I find him one of my most favorite characters, because I can relate to him and what he went through as well.
yeah.
Well, I also liked, funny, the one friend that they become friends with.
Yoshida, I believe.
Yeah,
Yoshida. This reminded me of you. She's like, I like the Blue Ranger because he has a good ass.
Oh my god! Well, this is why I connect with her. Like, I love the main character,
The ass.
Kano.
She's booty blinded.
But for Yoshida, being of a similar age range, because how she acted when they saw each other in one episode, Yoshida has to do a lot of work and is unable to connect a lot. And then when Kano and a friend sees her, she's with her boyfriend. And I think I connect with this because you kind of almost play that two faces type of individual where you have one face for the regular world that's not involved in your hobby, and then one face for everyone else.
One where you're the cog in the infinite wheel that is life, and
Yes.
one that's where you're actually enjoying the
So, and that's why I love that character, and I feel so bad when she's like, well, I'm almost done with this, I have to move on, and it's like, no, stay with it, be there forever.
And then the character of Natsuki, who you come in thinking she's going to be that character that you're going to end up hating in the villain, and then she becomes a core friend of the group that starts to get intertwined with them. Doesn't see eye to eye with what they enjoy, but they can connect on a
Are you
level.
talking about the Sixth Ranger type girl?
Yeah, because she is an Idol fangirl. Idol.
Well, this is one of the two series that I wanted on Blu-ray soon, because there are two
Yes.
series that are essentially love letters to the fans that have came out this year. This one being for the Sentai / the other one for gaming, which is High Score Girls.
High Score Girls getting the sequel on Netflix.
I know, October, and they're both love letters to the bases, aka the
Yeah,
community
it's
and
amazing
Sentai.
how well done the show is. I love the beach episode when they're like, "Oh, it's raining out and everything, we can't go out," and then when they actually do go on the beach, they don't even notice it's sunny and bright out at that time.
And it calls attention to it.
Yeah.
The text. Actually, it's kind of funny. I mean, I see a lot of YouTubers who are like, we post apologies in the video that something is clearly omitted. And here's a TV show doing the same. It's like, hey, it works. But what I loved about that episode is that they sent the message, look, you get older, there's a lot more responsibility, there's less time to just do whatever as you could as a kid or teenager, but that doesn't go away. You have to schedule it a little more in advance, but you can still have fun.
It makes that time that you have fun so much more valuable. Because for our group, we get together at certain times throughout the week, and when we get together, it's like I have something to look forward to because I know there's consistency, and I know I can feel like, yes, I finally feel like human again.
And forgive me if I pull out my smartphone, but there is a C.S. Lewis quote that is so good for the series. I'm trying to find it to be accurate.
He has a lot of quotes.
Yeah, top 100 quotes. Dude like to talk.
He's a comedian, that's kind of his shit.
But I also liked with Joshuan, it actually made me think of Geki Ranger with
Yeah.
designs.
It did.
And there was more development in a little time on that show than we had probably in all of Q Ranger.
And all of the space one too, and all of everything.
That was Q Ranger.
So we highlighted a little bit on one character that we're forgetting to continue to talk about.
Damien?
Damien.
Yeah.
Damien, and it's so hilarious because I can't remember what his actual
We only got his actual.
Tamiya, yes. So we meet him because Kano is looking for one of those pop
Well, you want the capsule figures.
Gashapon.
Gashapon.
which is in the keychains.
And so she's running around looking for these, and she almost gets close to getting her actual figure. And then you have this little boy who looks nothing like Damien. And I've seen every version
including
of the
radio.
Omen. And he looks nothing like Damien. And you're like, and she's like, Damien.
And you're like, where did she even get that from?
Because she's terrified of him.
She is. She's terrified. And so she calls him throughout the entire series. And he constantly says, don't call me Damien. Probably not even knowing that she's referencing a horror movie.
Well, actually, with how smart that kid is, he probably knows.
This kid is surprisingly earnest and
The
mature.
Hakus are great.
He's maybe more mature than the lead character.
What I loved when in that first episode when she's like, "Oh no, I'm done." He's like, "Okay," he turns the thing like, "But isn't this your money?"
What?
And she's like, "How did he see through me?"
But he does give these random pearls of wisdom. And they're always written in either the clouds
The sand.
or the sand. And it'll say the quote and it'll have D.
Yeah. And the best part, though, was his interaction with Yoshida with Swoon.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. But what I love is whenever he does these pearls of wisdom, she will look in the direction of where it is on the screen, and he'll be like, what are you looking at?
It does have some fourth wall breaks in there that are very subtle but enjoyable.
It does. I think that's what, but it really is, as Chris Lidge said, a love letter to the fans. And I think not just the American fans, for those who are seeing it, but really for the Japanese fans that have stuck with Tokusatsu for so long through the good and bad times.
Oh, I did like when she first becomes friends with Yoshida, and she's like, yeah, I was Emerge Jason in my age range, and she's like, age range? Wait, that would make her like 20-something.
Yeah, she's like calculating. She's like, crap, she's way younger than me too. But I love when when they're at this little like Sentai introduction or whatever type of show.
With one of the road shows that they do at
road show for the Sixth Ranger, or for the Sixth Ranger, even though it's the fourth. And Kano is taking out her cell phone, about to take pictures, and then Yoshida, badass as she is, pulls this like high magnum camera with this excellent lens out of her bag.
I need that lens.
I was like, wow, this is a dick measuring contest if I've ever seen one. But I actually kind of felt really bad for the Sixth Ranger when they're doing the introductions and nobody cares. And as Yoshida, she's like, well, he was just introduced and nobody knows who he is. And I'm like, I want to give the guy a hug.
Well,
he looks so forlorn. Like,
I was hoping to impress the youth, but yeah. But I love in the first episode to meet this mutual friend who has the Blue Ranger keychain. She realizes I have to get one, but I have to camouflage it without other little
with the most ridiculous amount of keychains.
But then they draw a historical comparison to Japanese Christians trying to avoid a purge.
Yeah.
That basically this is the same tactic in modern times. And I'm just like, okay, I learned something today.
I know, so did
I
I.
learned that before.
And
Oh my
The
god.
Rebellion of Kusashiro.
No, I never learned that.
well, I mean, what was
Ninja Resurrection teaches us this, people.
Why on earth would you reference Ninja Resurrection? No, I'm thinking of a different one. Samurai Champloo. I knew about, like, if you step on a plaque of the Virgin Mother's face, you have to make the sign, and that's how they outed Christians. But I didn't know about this secret message. I was just like, that's clever. And the fact that we're talking about this in a tokusatsu is blowing my frickin' mind.
I know. I'm like, wow. We're referencing
Literally,
the
some of us
fighting
don't play
religion.
Samurai Showdown.
Okay,
Well-
you need to go sit in the corner now.
Now I'm thinking about Samurai Champloo. I watched the show, but
So
I
I
never watched
figure
it
because
clearly.
most people probably still haven't seen it, since some people are probably learning about it now through this video, we probably should end it here so we don't go into any more spoilers than we've already talked
Yeah.
about.
But I think that all of our spoilers were subtle. It
Yeah.
didn't ruin the
I know.
story.
And it's fun.
But I personally have to say, I would recommend it because while it is kind of serious in some of the topics we've referenced with it, it's so funny. They make so many tongue-in-cheek jokes that you just love.
And if you do find there are people translating the manga online, if you want to find it there and read it while you watch the show as well, it's still ongoing too. And the author, you can tell, she grew up on Metal Heroes, Kamen Rider, and Sentai, and has a real love for it.
Did you find your quote?
Indeed I did, and I'd like to read it.
Okay.
When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up.
I like that.
So I think that really sums up this series.
That's a way to sum up the series.
10 out of 10 would buy it on Blu-ray if it ever got here. Still want it. Want it with High School Girl. Want it now. Just get it.
And he put it right next to his Ninja Resurrection
Sit down, we're not
collection.
done yet. Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I was like, okay, this sounds different, and it blew my mind with how good it was. I also want a second season. I want to see what they do with like the new show taking over Joshua.
I still think you're gonna leave me for Kana if she ever was turned
Well,
out.
If she was actual person and
Now,
not a fictional
Kruelka,
being.
we've gone over this. She's not a counterpart to the Gaiju. She's his female
Doppelganger.
herself.
Kind of like I'm your doppelganger.
Yeah.
I know, but he would leave me for her in a heartbeat.
Why would you go after yourself? What is with these people and egos? I don't get it.
Have you met YouTubers?
Have you met me?
Good point. This is a bit.
I've been with him for almost...
Almost 18
Did
years.
you really forget already?
No, I was about to say 18 and a half. I was almost about to say 19, but I'm like, not there yet.
Yeah, don't.
Hey!
Yeah, your relationship's a full legal teenager now.
In Canada, it's
I
almost
I think
legal
you
to
need
drink.
to lean
Yeah.
I'm trying.
All right. Anyway,
Come on.
Until next time.
until
Next
next time.
time.
Thanks for
There we go.
skating
There we go.
it. Bye.
Reach for it.